Oh, hello, friends. Welcome to episode 2 of the Wunderfan Show. I'm your host, Henry Marken. Of course, we are sponsored by the Wunderfan app. The Wunderfan app is the best fan rewards app out there. It's the only place where you can literally get paid to do things like going to games, going to stadiums, and of course, consuming content, all available in the Wunderfan app. In fact, if you see me talking to you on the Wunderfan app, congratulations, you're in the right place. You are getting paid to consume that content. So yes, it's a no-brainer app. There's no strings, there's no cons, there's no I got you. It's just as simple as get paid, earn cash rewards by doing stuff that you love. That is what it means to win on Wunderfan. Everyone wins on Wunderfan. Okay. Lots to cover today. I really don't feel good about. First of all, the sun is just atrocious right now. I'm getting killed with that. There's like this reflective light that's just destroying me. Let me just scoot over here. Okay. I guess. I don't know. Let me move that. Jesus. It's like the power of the sun. All right. It seems to be fine. Okay. Before I get on with sports and sports comedy, I just want to say, I don't know, my condolences to everyone involved in the LA fires. If you're on the front lines, if you're a first responder, firefighter, thank you. There's not enough thank yous to go around for those people. Those are real life Avengers, and people are losing their livelihoods, their homes, their whole existence are just going up in flames in a matter of seconds, minutes. And we've never seen anything like this in LA. This is by far going to be one of the worst wildfires in LA history. I was evacuated, so I can't go to my place in Santa Monica. I think now more than ever, we need to be kind to each other. We need to be nice and thankful and apologetic to those who have lost, and grateful to those that are doing what they can to save people. So my advice and my hope and my ask to everyone online is, especially if you're not living or have nothing to do with LA or the LA fires, if you're going to say anything online about the fires, it better be helpful. It better be uplifting. It better be a thank you or an apology. There is a dangerous amount of misinformation, not to mention people just providing their own political commentary on this matter. Like, let's not use this time of intense tragedy to launch our political commentary careers. This tragedy was not caused by politics. It was not caused by red or blue or anything in between. It is caused by a Category 2 hurricane-style wind scorching through an area that is amidst an insane drought. This is not politics, okay? So I beg and I hope that people can realize that you're not helping anyone who's lost their home by saying it's this person's fault. This person in office is to blame. It's very easy to blame people. This needs to be a time of unity and kindness and care. So with that in mind, I'm affected by the fires. A lot of people I know are affected by the fires. Let's come together. Let's not tear each other down for any gain politically. It's just gross. It's just sickening. Yeah. Anyways, so the Rams play on Monday night against the Vikings, first playoff game. Don't cancel the game, because I believe sports will always be a vehicle for change and a much needed escape for people. We've seen that throughout every sort of disaster or situation that sports has always been able to serve as a coping mechanism, as well as a movement to just provide a sense of escape, right? People need that. And I believe that holds true. But let's not make this any harder on the firefighters. Like, move the game. It does not need to be in LA. Move the game. This shouldn't be a question. Move it to Arizona. Move it to Vegas. I mean, football in Vegas is like the greatest thing ever to begin with. And all it would be doing now is making sure that there's not any more unnecessary traffic or road closures or clogs in an area that could very well go up in flames. Let's not make this any harder than it needs to be. This shouldn't be a debate. NFL is unsure where they're going to play. Just, I know you have no control over this either. I'm just saying this should not be in question. Go somewhere else. It's got to be in Vegas or Arizona. It cannot be in LA. Okay. So let's talk NFL playoffs. First bit of news. I guess it doesn't even involve the playoffs. It involves the Bengals' absence from the playoffs is still news. And Travis Kelce has been very, very vocal about it. I made a joke earlier this week that Andy Reid sent Sean Payton a screenshot of their entire offense before they played each other, basically guaranteeing that the Bengals don't make the playoffs. I said it as a joke because that would be crazy if that happened. And then as I delivered the joke on the show, I had this aha moment where it was basically like, is it a joke? So I think it's a joke. I'm quite certain Andy Reid didn't just share the offense with Sean Payton, ensuring the Bengals get eliminated by the Broncos making it. But I'm a little not, I don't want to say convinced that the Chiefs totally have the Bengals in any playoff match. In fact, the fact that we're still talking about the Bengals not making the playoffs, this shouldn't be news Thursday. This is news Monday, Tuesday, maybe. But it is news because Travis Kelce is still harping about the fact that they wanted to play the Bengals. In fact, he said, we will beat them in a Walmart parking lot. The fact that we're still talking about this kind of cements the notion that maybe Kansas City really didn't want to play the Bengals. I mean, it's always the loudest guys at the bar that are the most insecure in my experience, right? I mean, you see, like if you're out on the street and you're just enjoying a coffee or a dinner or just walking and the most obnoxious, god-awful engine rev just tears down your street, those guys are usually, I'm talking about those engine revs where you're just like, really? The really loud ones, the awful ones, right? The louder the engine rev, in my experience, the louder the engine rev, the smaller the penis. That's just, I think that's just the fact. By the way, not to go on a tangent here, but has anyone ever been on a street, like a corner or on a walk, and you hear this most obnoxious bullshit loud engine rev it drives? Has anyone ever just been like, did you see that? That was cool. No one has ever said that. Never. No one has ever been wowed by it. Never. In the history of forever has anyone ever been like, oh my God, that was cool. No one's been wowed by an engine rev. So think about that. I think that's the science that backs my claim that I think the Chiefs were, in fact, a little, I guess, motivated to lose, not losing on purpose. We'll never be able to prove that. I'm not wearing my tinfoil hat, but I just think all this, Kelce, we'll beat him in a parking lot. We'll beat him in a 7-Eleven. I wanted to play them. I think all that roaring from Kelce is making up for something small. And I think what's small in this case is their confidence in beating Joe Burrow twice in one season. After all, they barely beat them this year, as it took a hilariously on cue penalty marker being thrown to win. Then, of course, that stupid misogynist drilled a 50-yarder to win. God, I hate the Chiefs. The Chiefs are just even when they're a smidge likable, they do it to themselves. All right, enough about my opinions. Let's talk about fact, which is my prediction for the NFL playoffs. It's not a fact. We'll see what happens here. Okay. So going through the playoff bracket, I told you earlier this week, I want the Bills to play the Lions. That's what I wanted. I don't think that will happen. I think that's very much wishful thinking. By the way, before I get into this, I just want to make this clear. This is very much a live radio show. So that number you see there, call 424-299-1235 to join. I am now opening up the floor for anyone that wants to call and join the show. And so if people call, you absolutely can join the show. I will answer the call and treat this very much like a radio show. So the phones are open. If you want to leave a voicemail, of course, you can. I have some voicemails loaded, and I'm excited to play them for you all. But here we go. At any point, stop me, join the show, and let's chop it up. If you want to rant about something, if you have a bet that imploded, I have a whole lifetime of those. We can obviously break it down. Or if you just want to tell me I'm wrong, go for it. Okay, so playoff bracket. I told you this week, Bills versus Lions was my wish. That's what I want. But we don't just get things that we want. We can't have nice things. That's just how life goes. If it's cool and we desire it, so close. Next time. I think we won't get exactly what we don't want. I said the most yucky Super Bowl could be Eagles Chiefs because it's chalk versus chalk. You got to root for a three-peat, or you got to root for a team from Philly. You got to watch Nick Sirianni and his smug smile and Big Don and all these guys, these Philly villains that I have grown to just absolutely detest over the years as a Niners fan. You have to root for one of the two. It's a horrible combo for Niners fans, Eagles, Chiefs, like myself. I don't think that will happen either. But before we get there, let's go game by game. So, first game on the slate, Texans versus Chargers. Chargers are a 3-point favorite. I am all over the Bolts. I think they are boring as all hell and rock solid in every position on the field. That is a very, very good formula for winning a playoff game on the road. Give me Harbaugh, and his hero being SpongeBob SquarePants is literally an inspirational figure in Jim Harbaugh's life. Yeah, that's rocket fuel for a win in the playoffs. A boring team that's solid everywhere. Love it. Love it. 3-point favorites. Hammer that. All over that. Okay. Ravens Steelers. Ravens are 10-point favorites. This will not be a 10-point game. No way. This will be a rock fight in probably the most AFC North fashion ever. Ravens will win 16-10. That's my call. Mark it. Today's date, January 9th. It's Thursday. Game's on Saturday. When they win 16-10, you can come back here. There's no time travel machine. Well, it's broken. It's in the garage. Needs some repairs, but I didn't use it for this. This is just my intuition tells me this is going to be such a low scoring, absolute mud wrestling match. It probably won't be muddy, but you know what I mean? It's going to be AFC North football. Lamar will win. Concluding the downhill slide into hell for the Steelers this year. Denver versus Buffalo. I know people are talking about the fact that Denver went into Buffalo last year and beat them with arguably a worse team. The Bills aren't going to lose this game. Let's not waste any time, any airwaves talking about how Denver can win. It's a 9.5-point spread favoring the Bills. It may be close, but there's too many forces in play, both on the field, off the field, behind the scenes. Josh Allen needs to be in the playoffs, and he will be. He's that good. And also, why would you do anything to make sure that doesn't happen if you're a league, if you're a game maker, right? So again, tinfoil hat off. Bills are much better than the Broncos, but tinfoil hat back on. You need Josh Allen. You need that television draw. Bo Nix ain't there yet. May not ever get there. Maybe. We'll see, though. Green Bay versus Philly. Green Bay losing to the Bears in the last game of the year was atrocious for a ton of reasons between injuries and the loss itself. Going from playing in Tampa to playing in Philly, your season's done. Done. It's over. Go Pack, go to Cancun. You're done. You're done. Like, you're not getting... if Jordan Love's not playing, you're done. You just lost Watson, stud receiver, ACL, you're done. You're also not beating Philly. You're not capable of beating this type of team. You're just not. You played them earlier this year in Brazil, and Philly wasn't even Phillified yet. Philly really wasn't who they are now then. I would say Green Bay probably was a lot better then than they are now. See that? Sort of the opposite directions. The trends don't line up. Philly will win. It's a 4.5-point game right now. That's what the spread says. Philly being favorites. I bet you Philly wins by a touchdown or two. I don't think this will be ever in question for Philly fans. So Sirianni can smile, I guess. Okay. Sunday night game. This is Tampa versus Washington. I am so excited about this game. I'm very excited for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's a rematch, and I love rematches because it's a different level of hitting and physicality. It's the get back game. I got you game. Obviously, Tampa won the first time. This is very different this time. The Bucs have old tape on the Commanders. I almost lost the name. Did you see that? Did you see what happened there? I almost was. I mean, it just for a second. It was like Redskins, Commanders, Commodores. What are they? What are they? The football club. Like that. It was 2 seconds. I don't talk about the Commanders enough to say them at will like every other team because they just haven't been good until literally this season. So it took me a second. You thought I was going to say something naughty. I didn't. Commanders. Got it. Anyways, I bet you the Commanders will win. Jaden Daniels is so good. Jaden Daniels is he's Lamar. He is literally just like Lamar. I mean, the guy is a brilliant runner. He's got an absolute cannon, throws dots. And now the Ravens, just like the Commanders, who are putting together good defenses surrounding their premier talent in QB, it's crippling. It's suffocating. You got a good defense and a good quarterback who will kill you on the ground and crush you in the air as well. Yeah. Bucs old tape won't do much against Jaden Daniels this time around. Give me the Commanders beating the Bucs. And then on Monday night, of course, this is Rams Vikings. I cannot say enough. I hope they move this game somewhere else. It would just be so thoughtless to have this game in LA. Well, not totally thoughtless, but it just doesn't make any sense. Why? Just don't go through any trouble to do this. I don't think that will have an effect on the game. If they play this in Vegas, they play this in Vegas. They play in Arizona. I think it's still Matt Stafford with a better team. I think the Vikings are good and the Vikings have some studs, but I like the Rams lineup more than I like the Vikings lineup because I think Matt Stafford throwing to Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams on the ground is more effective than Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones. They're great, but Darnold is seeing ghost, and the dude is haunted, and it's just not going to work. I think this will be the most forgettable 14-3 team ever assembled, and they will just as quickly drift into the abyss of nothingness come Monday night. We will have forgotten about the Vikings by Tuesday and how great they were all year. And then from there, it's all chalk in the NFC. I got Lions versus Eagles in the NFC Championship, and I said it, you can't keep out nut-sacking other teams if you're Dan Campbell and the Lions. I think they'll get scar tissue. Okay, I've just overused that joke. I think the Eagles beat them because this is their year. They finally have it all together. Saquon is just so sick. I'm so sorry. If you can hear all this noise, I guess everyone that is also sharing this place with me decided it's time to do tap dancing and singing. So just keep that in mind. There it is. That was a big one. If you didn't hear it, cool. And then it's just me going crazy. I got Lions versus Eagles. Eagles got them. AFC, not as chalky. Chiefs will beat the Chargers. A semi-exciting game. Maybe some help from Stripes. I like the Chiefs advancing to the AFC Championship, playing the Ravens. I think Lamar beats Josh Allen. And what do we have here? Lamar versus Mahomes in Arrowhead. Just a good old classic AFC championship game that we've seen. We've seen it now, and we've said it was the first game of the year. Give me Lamar. This is the year they pull it off. Ravens, Eagles, Super Bowl. You might notice a pattern. You can't stop Hurts and Saquon, just like you can't stop Lamar and Derrick Henry. For everyone else in the playoffs, good night, sweet prince. It's the Eagles and the Ravens. That's my Super Bowl, and I'm not giving you a prediction now because one of those teams could be wounded by the time we get there, or more wounded, less wounded, but I like the Birds having a bird fight in a bird cage. They should, if that Super Bowl happens, they should officially name, because isn't the Super Bowl, it's in NOLA. Oh, I thought it was, that would have been cool. If the Super Bowl featuring the Ravens versus the Eagles was in the Falcons Stadium, it's birds, birds, birds. It's two birds fighting in a bird cage. You can officially call the Super Bowl the Aviary. But no, it's in New Orleans, Saints. I got nothing there. So it's just a bird fight in a holy house. Holy bird war? No, it's stupid. Forget it. Anyways, that's what I got. Niners will win the Super Bowl next year, but that doesn't matter right now because we're not talking about next year. Okay, it looks like the sun has risen above it for about 5 minutes. Oh, for about 5 minutes, there was just sun that was just, it was like right here. And maybe you couldn't even see the Wunderfan logo. So maybe now for another ad read of Wunderfan. Wunderfan is the greatest app a sports fan can have. Yes, here we go. I'm feeling it, feeling good. The Wunderfan app provides you an opportunity to win cash rewards just by going to a game. So you're not paying for Wunderfan. You're already going to the game. You already spent money on a ticket. You might as well earn cash rewards just for being there. It's a sports fan rewards app that uses your location across every single stadium in the country. Pro sports, college sports. If you're at a game watching it, you can earn. That's Wunderfan. And the prizes that you win, and I say prizes because there are some material goods, such as tickets to the Natty or the Super Bowl. You can get those tickets. If you accumulate a lot of Wonder, you could redeem your Wonder. So you go to enough games and you earn Wonder by being there. You could redeem for tickets or, it looks like we have a caller. Again, this is a live radio show. If you call that number on the screen, you can join the show. We got a caller. And who might you be? This is the Wunderfan Show.
Yeah, this is G.
G, how are you? Where are you calling from, G?
Macon, Georgia.
G from Macon, Georgia. What can I do you for?
Did you see what Kirk Herbstreit said?
I sure did. It seems like he's backpedaling on everything he said all year, is my understanding.
That guy needs to take his thin-ass skin and get the hell out of the South and move back up north. To come on and talk about how ESPN isn't in love with the SEC, and then he comes out and says, essentially, that we got the best programs and the biggest brands in the four right now in the semifinals, and we don't want any Southern schools. And then he sits there and he disses Clemson where his own damn kid went. When he comes down here, whether it be Oxford or Athens or Auburn or Georgia for game day next year, I want everybody in the South booing his ass off the stage back up to fucking Columbus.
There's a lot of energy and passion there, G from Georgia. This couldn't be perhaps because your team was zapped early and he perhaps had felt nothing about them. May I ask if you did go to a school or perhaps root for a school that did not make the college football playoff? Is that where this passion resides?
Well, I might be from Georgia, but yes, I am a Gator.
There it is. There it is.
But that being said, we love where we're going right now with Lagway. And next year could be our year. Next year could be our year. And hell, I don't know with NIL, but we got a damn good basketball team.
That you do. That you do. We have a great ambassador down in Florida who is just thrilled that they blew the doors off of Tennessee. And you know, things aren't terrible for you guys, for you Gators. But as far as Herbie goes, you know, I I went to Indiana, so I don't feel yeah. So I don't feel the same. I guess I felt a little bit of pain earlier when he just continued to shovel us into the dirt all year and say we didn't deserve to be there. But now I realize we probably didn't deserve to be there. Yes.
Indiana.
All right. Gee, I'm going to let you go. We have a next caller, but I appreciate your concern towards Herbie. And perhaps Herbie is, in fact, just licking the boots of ESPN. Maybe. But thank you for calling. As always, folks, you can call this number and join the show just like G. He was nice. He was fun. A little bit of passion there. I will touch on college football now. Now that I've said my whole thing. Glad you brought that up. Great timing, because it's a perfect segue into college football. You know, Herb Street has said a lot of things past couple weeks. I think to just rip the guy to shreds for stuff that he says is part of the job. And if you're a sports commentator and you're used to just being sort of this presenter of football, and now you have an opinion because it's become so subjective. Like the 12-team playoff is literally a matter of opinion, and he has an opinion that was one thing, and now his opinion has changed. You may be subject to some scrutiny. I think the fact that he said you couldn't have bought a better Final Four might be a little egregious, considering that he does work for the network that is putting on the Final Four. But I think it still should be good football. Yeah. And by the way, I think Herb Street is the man. I think Herb Street is very, very awesome. And he's so good for college football. But, take your medicine. If you said something that's a little soft, wear it. All right, here we go. College football playoffs. So Notre Dame playing Penn State in Miami. And the reason why I falter there a little bit is because there's a great story happening right now that involves not Notre Dame or Penn State, but some Ohio State fans who, in fact, misread the bracket, in quote. This is a true story. Penn State reporter Johnny McGonigal, this is of like 3 hours ago, said that some Ohio State fans were in the lobby. And he was sort of, what are you guys doing here? Of course, because Ohio State is playing in Dallas, right? Miami is the Orange Bowl host of the game that features Penn State, Notre Dame. Ohio State fans are there. And the reporter, Johnny McGonigal, was sort of like, what are you guys doing here? Your game is tomorrow in another state. And they said they misread the bracket. Like, booking flights, booking hotels, probably he said they're college students, a couple of dudes that are just like, yeah, it would be sick if we kept our winter break going, and they misread the bracket. That is incredible. I mean, I want to say it's wishful thinking because you're booking something in Miami and you're like, I know there is a site here. This could be, this could be where they play. Maybe we could parlay this with just sort of like an early spring break. We're on break. Let's keep it going. I also think this is just the culture of OH. IO. Oh, brains. No brains. I went to Indiana, so I have no problem saying Ohio State fans are just not there always. But, whatever happens with these guys, they're not where they need to be. I think that is so good. They misread the bracket. That's incredible. And McGonigal is saying this is all true. He's a reporter. I hope this isn't a classic case of just putting out a fake story for clicks. If this is real, this is fabulous. Can you imagine that? Like, seeing on the bracket, it's clearly labeled where each, because these are big games, and so there's a lot of money to get there. So it's like, if you win here, you go here. I think all they saw was they saw the possibility of one of the games is Miami. They just saw Miami, went Miami. Ah, we got another caller. Here we go. This is the Wunderfan show. Who might you be?
What?
This is the Wunderfan show. Who are you?
You talk about the NFL?
We can talk the NFL. Yeah.
All right. Who do you think's gonna win the Eagles-Packers game?
Eagles-Packers game?
Yeah.
I think the Eagles win because the Packers are done. I think they're so injured.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who is calling, by the way? Can I get a name? We lost them. The caller wanted to remain anonymous. There's a hot chance they'll call back or not. I thought the same thing about a lot of dates in high school. The second I asked for a name, that's usually what happened. Boop, boop, boop. You know, I think that person just wanted to talk ball, and shame on me. Shame on me for making this about me. I should have known. If you want to talk ball, that's the relationship. We don't need to know names. Shame on me. Should we try one more time? Oh, we have another call. Yes, hello. This is the Wunderfan show. Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to Jake from Oregon.
Jake from Oregon. This is probably a tough time for most Oregonians, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely it is. It's a really tough time.
What do you want to talk about, Jake from Oregon?
I actually want to divert all convo from speaking of Oregon football and ask you a question about the 49ers and what they should do this offseason. I mean, they have a lot of questions, what they do at quarterback, who should they retain, who should they let go. If you're John Lynch, what are the moves you need to make this offseason?
Wow. That's a pivot I wasn't prepared for. If I'm John Lynch, I would make sure that everyone in the building knows how easy next year's schedule is and how important it is to not just return to the NFC Championship for the sake of the culture, but to win the Super Bowl. That is the goal. We're not going to lose track of the goal. We have our target in sight. It's getting the Lombardi and hoisting that thing for ourselves, not watching Mahomes do it, not doing anything else in between. I think next year, the host side of the Super Bowl is also, correct me if I'm wrong, Jake from Oregon, is it not in Levi's Stadium? Isn't that where the Super Bowl is being played next year?
I believe that is where the Super Bowl is
Yeah,
next year.
I think that's just like, I think the goal for next year is let's have home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs. Like something no team has ever had or done, where it's you get the 1 seed and you just stay home until the Super Bowl. Nobody leaves, nobody moves, just win a Super Bowl. What do we do to get there?
You pay Purdy.
I think you give Purdy. I think you give him a year-round pass to North Star and Dave & Buster's and a few other good restaurants in the area. You know, you can eat here for free. I think you get him a discount at Men's Warehouse if he wants to dress nice. I think you can get him another Toyota minivan. That always sweetens the deal. And nothing else. Nothing considerable. He should not be getting $50 million. So we could just, cannibalize our whole payroll just to go to him to throw to no one. I think he's got to earn. I hate to say it. Oh, Jim. I think he's got to, I think you can't pay him when you're paying Burrow because Burrow would take this team to the Super Bowl and win 5 in a row. Burrow is effectively the next Joe Montana. And Purdy is not yet. You can't pay Purdy what you almost are paying Burrow. You're not even close. You got to pay Purdy, pay him 10 million, 15, 20 million. You got to pay him quick. So you lock him in. You got Purdy's the guy, but he's not worth the money. That's what you do. But what do I know, Jake from Oregon? I'm just a guy with a microphone and a sweet hat and a cool show.
Yeah, I think he's worth Daniel Jones money, but I don't think he's worth Joe Burrow money. I'd have to agree there.
So that's a crazy name drop you laid out for us. Daniel Jones, would you be open to the possibility of having Daniel Jones be signed by the Niners and play as a backup should to increase. I mean, it just seemed like this year, the backup behind Purdy, the quarterback room wasn't very intimidating. It's a lot scarier if you have a hungry Darnold right behind Purdy. I mean, I attribute a lot of our success was because we had Darnold as the QB2, making Purdy feel like this job ain't yours until you completely earn it. And you get rid of Darnold and you got Brandon Allen and Josh Dobbs, who I love the passer, by the way. I've met the passer. He's awesome. But it's just not very scary of a depth chart.
Totally. I completely agree. I think you have to make a move for a better backup quarterback. Brandon Allen's definitely not going to make the cut.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to pay Purdy, but you can't pay him anything ridiculous. The team's too much money going around this team to pay him big numbers.
Yeah, that's I'm not going to lie, Jake from Oregon. I thought when you opened this call with a little bit of, I thought there was going to be a little Oregon talk, but it seems like you want nothing to do with that. I won't jab. I won't ruffle the feathers. I'm sure you're suffering in ways I can't imagine, but you doing okay?
I'm making it through the tough times.
Making it through the tough times. Thank you, Jake from Oregon. Good, fun stuff about the Niners. Expect a Super Bowl next year. That is Super Bowl or bust. It has to be. Has to be. All right. You take care.
You too.
Well, that's cool. Folks, again, call the number 424-299-1235 to join the show. We can have civil discussions. We can have very uncivil discussions. So far, it's been quite fair. The weather's been fair, at least. I would advise you to be prepared to tell me your name so I can at least address you by something. It doesn't have to be your real name. It could be fake. Oh, someone's calling again. Yes, hello. This is the Wunderfan show. Who am I speaking to?
I'm back.
You're back. Oh, it's you.
Yep. King of Birds.
King of Birds. Is that your nickname? Is the King of Birds?
Yeah, you can call me that.
I'll call you the King of Birds. All right, King of Birds. What do you got for me today?
Oh, what do you think about Tanner McKee?
What do I think about what?
Tanner McKee, the third string for the Eagles, the guy who started last week versus the Giants. What do you think about Tanner McKee?
Wow. That is an insane name drop. Tanner McKee. Dude, I mean, I think what we saw is that the Eagles are a machine that can move no matter who's steering the ship. King of Birds, I think your kingdom is in really good hands. I said earlier in the show that I think the Super Bowl is Eagles-Ravens. I think we got a bird fight in a bird cage.
Yeah, I did hear one video about the Eagles Chiefs, so we're never gonna go where we want. I saw that one too. That was pretty good.
But that's coming from the lens of being a Niners fan.
Oh yeah.
Right. So you guys curb stomped us that one year, and then we lost to the Chiefs. I've seen 2 Chiefs Super Bowl victories against the Niners. So it's just like my eyelids are taped to my forehead when I have to watch that Super Bowl, knowing that both those teams has handed it to us. So
yeah, I've also seen Jalen Hurts drop the ball in the Super Bowl and give it right to Nick Bolton and watch us lose. So that was pretty hard to watch.
Yes, it was. That I was there. I was in Scottsdale for that, if you could believe it.
Yeah, how do you stream with only 17 subscribers or 12 or whatever you have?
Oh, how's the show?
How do you stream it though? How do you put it on YouTube?
Well, we have some software tools. This is it's just very much like a regular show that you can watch, that you can,
Yep.
I'm getting another call, King of Birds, but I'm glad you gave me your name and I didn't just get stood up. That was very nice of you. We'll talk soon.
Yep, see you.
Mondays and Thursdays. Another call. Yes, it's the Wunderfan show. Who am I speaking to?
You know who this is. This is Casey from UCF.
Casey from UCF. What do I have the pleasure? Look at that. I mean, we got last caller said King of Birds. I want no name. Was scared to give me a name. Now we got Casey from UCF. Full curtain reveal. Doesn't care. Identity out there. What do you got for me, Casey from UCF?
Man, just two teams next year for college football that I think personally have a shot. LSU is one of them because I'm from Louisiana.
Mhm.
So LSU, loading up in the portal, BK is cooking like normal.
Yeah, sure.
And then Scott Frost, UCF. I want to talk about UCF for a second.
Oh, I knew that was coming. So
The
yeah.
whole Gus Malzahn issue, hated him, right? He's a great person. Don't get me wrong there, but he thinks every quarterback is Cam Newton.
Yeah.
And he's terrible at evaluating quarterbacks because we got KJ Jefferson from Arkansas, and he played terrible for 3 games. Got benched for a 17-year-old EJ Colson, who wasn't bad. He was 17 years old though. Curry Brown comes in and does fuck all, and then you have this white guy named Dylan Risk come in and he slings that motherfucker, and you're sitting there and you're like, where has this guy been all season? And you're just like, so it's time for him to go, and Florida State can have our leftovers. They took Tim Harris, or whatever our running back coach was.
So UCF, they're in the Big 12, and I had the pleasure of watching a couple of their games. From what I saw, I hammered both overs because it looks like no defense. No defense.
No, absolutely not.
None. Absolutely not. So,
No.
So I guess the expectation from the offense to the broader population of listeners is score 70 points a game, and you have a shot of, what is it, you want to win the Natty next year? That's the goal?
Not for UCF. UCF next year make a bowl game.
Okay, make a bowl game.
We went 4-8 this year. Make a bowl game. It's Frost's first year back, and with Frost, it's like getting back with your ex. You don't know how it's going to go.
Right.
So,
but there's got to be some comfort in getting back with your ex. There's sort of like it's all, in many ways, familiar road, old reliable. Maybe there's some new fun things. Maybe your ex went out and got some work done or something, or lost some weight. Maybe. While there's a lot of things you remember about, your previous relationship with your ex, perhaps there's some fun new upgrades. Are we expecting any new upgrades with Scott Frost at UCF, or is this just?
Well, he's in the portal right now. I think he's got like the 4th best portal in the country right now. We just got a wide receiver from Florida, so we have to thank our little bro for that. But he was with us in 2017. And 13-0 should have been. Well, technically we are national champions. But
right, because didn't you beat Bama?
Auburn, who beat Bama.
Auburn beat Bama. That's right.
And
okay.
It is nationally recognized. I'll throw that out there.
Right. The billboards. I've seen the billboards.
Yes.
Those are real. Those are real.
It's very real, and I think Frost brings back the culture that Malzahn completely lost with that program. And I think it excites, the fan base. Because UCF's got a great fan base. I was just at the Colorado basketball game last night, 1-by-1. And that fan base is excited to finally have a competent head coach who knows what he's doing and won't call a QB sneak on 3rd and 9. But I think, UCF in the next 2-3 years will be in that playoff conversation in the Big 12 title game, looking to make a big splash, maybe bring home a national championship.
Okay, so you're back with the old ex, and not only things are going to be great, the future looks great, but you're thinking you're going to put a ring on the old ex. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's definitely possible. I can see that.
Wow. Hallmark, get your clipboards, get your notepads. We got a movie idea for you. Go ahead. So it's just yep.
With Florida State, I think UCF, is going to be the premier program in Florida because Florida State's terrible. Mike Norvell's doing a terrible job with that program, and I love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Napier is kind of figuring it out. Don't know what he's going to do. He's lost a lot of people at the portal. And then Cristobal, man, Miami just doesn't play no defense. They can't finish games. Losing to Georgia Tech on the road.
Damn.
They should have lost at home to Virginia Tech too. It was a catch.
Well, don't get me started in the ACC officiating. I will say, maybe I wish it won't be such a frosty spring for you. I hope it's fabulous for you in Orlando.
Well, it's cold right now. It's like actually freezing right now. So.
Well, it's the winter, but I was talking more about Coach Frost. But the thing,
it's gonna get frosty in the winter.
Yes. take care, Casey from UCF. I appreciate it. I will let you at least. I can't let you walk away until you talk about. You said you expect all things as usual with BK, and then you hinted at a possible BK as in Brian Kelly. Then you hinted, oh, all things as usual. That's why we're going for a natty. There's nothing usual about Brian Kelly in a national championship. Absolutely nothing usual there. Like, that's not a 9-to-5 experience. A 9-to-5 experience with Brian Kelly is a crash out press conference after the game and someone else's fault why he can't land recruits at some of the best schools, most world-renowned schools in the country, specifically Notre Dame and LSU. So BK will be back as usual. What do you mean by that?
I mean, the big narrative is BK can't coach big ball games, right?
It's looking like more like a true story than any fictional narrative.
But his first year at LSU with a completely depleted roster, he won the SEC West and wins the SEC title game.
Before?
And, got done by Georgia.
Right. Okay.
But like that, but Georgia went on to win the national championship that
Sure.
year. And, I mean, arguably one of the best in the top 10, at least, of college football teams historically.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
What Brian Kelly has done in the portal so far, getting Barry and Brown from Kentucky, getting the D linemen from Texas, and all these edge rushers from Florida, and all these people that are coming in, and he got Michael Van Buren, the quarterback from Mississippi State, who can be under.
I mean, we can measure our swords and knives all we want, and just say, hey, this and that. Brian Kelly had Jaden Daniels and couldn't do jack shit with him. So
that one you blame Matt House on, because that defense was just absolutely atrocious. On that team with Jaden Daniels, you had Malik Neighbors, you had Brian Thomas, you had all these weapons.
I know. And they couldn't move.
Well, they had one of the best offenses in the SEC.
It's just a waste. It was a waste is all I'm saying. I don't think anything's business as usual.
I will never forgive Matt House for that, because if he had a competent defense, it didn't have to be the greatest. It could be mediocre at best. They would have been in the playoffs.
Matt, probably.
And you just can't forgive Matt House for that.
Probably. I think that falls on BK. Any final words for you, Casey, out of UCF?
Look for Scott Frost to win a national championship in 3-4 years.
Boom. Book it. Thank you. All right. You heard the man. I don't know if you can trust the man, but you heard him. Scott Frost won a national championship a couple of years out of UCF, and BK will be back. Business as usual. BK, have it no way. You suck. Not bad. Okay. I think now is a good time to wrap it up. We got some good activity from the callers today. Sorry, the episode started off a little somber. It just felt compelled to talk about it. It was, it's very much involved in my life. The fires are still active and looks like not contained at all. And so it's important to spread good messages to people and not misinformation. Let's heal, not harm in these times. Do I have anything more I want to talk about? Oh, maybe the college football playoff. I think, yeah, I'll just say this so we have it on the record. Of course, when it happens, we come back, look at this clip and be like, I was right. Penn State coach James Franklin basically told Marcus Freeman yesterday in a press conference, hey, this isn't a knock on Notre Dame, but they didn't play in a conference championship. They shouldn't be here. He said this isn't a knock and then proceeded to knock on him for 5 minutes. And Freeman just took it on the chin, just ate it. I bet you Notre Dame wins by a touchdown and some change. I've been very vocal. I don't think Riley Leonard's very good. Obviously, that's not true. He is very good. He's beaten some very good teams, including my Hoosiers. And then the Ohio State-Texas game. Come on, Ohio State. Texas plays with their food. That's what I got. I guess final thoughts. Is anyone else just feeling a little bit like their For You pages is just throwing Joy Taylor at them? The Fox Sports anchor woman that's just caught in a pretty visceral lawsuit over the weekend about, sleeping with a ton of coworkers and stuff. By the way, seems like the GOAT, Colin Cowherd, remains an absolute saint. Everywhere in that lawsuit, he was described as nothing but nice, respectful, professional. Love to see that. Great meme right now is Colin Cowherd arrives to work, says a shit take, and goes home to his wife. Respect. I actually think his takes are amazing. I think the dude is so right. He just says a lot of takes, and so some of them age like milk, like Josh Rosen and Ben Simmons. Those are pretty loud, rotten, moldy takes, but most of his takes are pretty on the dot. Anyone feel like Joy Taylor is coming up a little bit too much on their feed right now? Like, just like, and everything that's involved in the lawsuit is just like on full display. Like you're just scrolling and it's like, here's a Fox Sports clips and it's just Joy Taylor just like, just doing exactly what you probably think she would. I don't know. It just seems like a little distracting. And I definitely can see why there is a lawsuit. That's for sure. No biggie. No big deal. Okay. It's kind of hard to walk the line. I see it. I'm not going to comment. I see why it's possible. Because in every social media clip I've seen, it's just like, oh, okay. Well, some horny bastards at the office, and she's inviting him. Anyways, all right. That's all for today. Remember, you can call the Wunderfan Show live, 424-299-1235, and we'd love to have you on the show. We got some anonymous callers today with some new nicknames. That's fun. King of Birds. That could be a fun return and recurring guest. Got a couple guys. Casey from UCF out there, and we had G from Georgia that was passionate about Florida. And yeah, that's it. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. If you know anyone involved in the LA fires, whether a first responder or someone who just is just there, be nice, be thankful, be apologetic. They need you. Be uplifting. Don't be harmful. That's all from me today, folks. And, the chat. I'm the caller, King of Birds, King of Birds, King of Birds. King of Birds, please return. All right. That's it. Ciao.